what's up, mi gente? It's David Favela coming to you from the Talent Foundry here in the Design and Innovation Building on the beautiful UCSD campus. We're really excited today to present you with Gray Cash, who is from his company, Cash Electronics. And he's been a member of the Talent Foundry from the very beginning, and we're really happy to have him here. How you doing, Gray?
I'm doing okay.
Phenomenal. So today we're going to shoot for a 10 to 15 minute length. This is a new format for us, but we're really looking to deliver value and leverage learning so that you too can learn from the Talent Foundry, both from our founders and the program itself. And so today we'll be talking about the entrepreneurial journey. So Gray, tell us, how did your entrepreneurial journey get started?
On a hope and a prayer.
As they all do.
Where do you want me to start?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Sometimes businesses have a thread going all the way back to childhood. You had a certain predilection, a certain hobby that, drove you, and eventually it became a business idea for you. But sometimes they come out of the blue. So I'm really curious to know how your particular idea came to form.
Well, they say, genius is spread from necessity.
Yes.
So at the point in time of my life, which was December of 2014, I was really trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be. I knew the decisions that I had been making prior to that wasn't putting me in where I wanted to be. So I needed to make a dramatic change. And considering going back to school, how long it was take me to get to where I wanted to do, and considering the length of what I had to do with business, I thought about it, okay, I think if I create something that could put me into business, I can place myself into a path that would be more in line with what I wanted to do with my life. And as far as that leading to a business, I had no idea at that time. So I just got a book, and I said, brain, give me some ideas. So,
love it.
So I had a book, and I wrote a bunch of different ideas down, and I just observed, and I kept track of what those ideas were. And some of them were apps, some of them this, and there were bunch of different stuff. I had one hard tech idea that came to me, and the rest of them would actually be easier in implication, like putting them into effect. But I had no idea because I don't know coding. But at the time, I had been learning machining, so I knew that I could put this together. But at that point, I had no idea whether it was patentable or if anybody had it out or anything like that. So I just, at the time, you're also fighting your own naysays. Oh, somebody has it, and
of course,
oh, it's not a good idea. It is a good idea, but but what if it's not? Then you try to talk to people about it, and most people don't understand it.
No.
So you don't really have anyone to bounce it off to. You really have to rely on your own understanding and truly believe whether this is going to be a good thing or not, no matter what anybody says.
That's right.
Which led into going and making the choices I had to make in order to earn the money. Well, first I had to figure out where I needed to go. Not understanding, walking into a world of not knowing where you're going or where you needed to go. You've never been there before. It was literally walking. You would call it like walking through a gauntlet. You just put your shaders down, you put your head down, and you just keep taking the punches until you arrive at
That's right.
where you're trying to go. But it's truly walking in a faith.
Yeah.
It's truly walking in a faith and truly believing in what that thing inside of you tells you. This is something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's something.
It's so incredible. I don't know where that comes from, but I also, as a child and teenager, and even as a young adult, I had a notebook of business ideas. They just come from a place that, one, that that's what you want to do. And two, where they come from is just, I don't know, it's a very curious mind. It was almost a curse and a blessing, because it's like I couldn't stop seeing things and going, I wonder why that works. So that's phenomenal. So it's truly a case where you chose the lifestyle and said, this is who I'm going to be, and then applied your intellect and your insight and, your personal experiences to identify with what I have and what I can do, what direction can I take it. So that's really interesting.
My prior work had yielded no indication that I would be successful at all. That I would be successful. And in fact, I oftentimes, when people are trying to make sense of me, you really can't.
Right.
Because you have, minimum wage jobs to utility patent, and the next people who I'm associated with now in regards to American history, they're all PhDs of something.
Oh, yeah.
Here's this individual out of nowhere idea, gets something patented that's on the borders of fringe science, and you have a working application, and PhD individuals are, I'm in that conversation with them now. I don't make sense.
That's incredible.
And the answer to that is, I honestly think most people talk themselves out of their own brilliance.
Yeah.
They find reasons to, that's not this, and they don't do it. I just decided to say, shut up and listen. I just shut up and I just listened, and I just did it. No matter what came at me, I just did, and I listened to what that voice told me to do, which was go after this, just do it.
Yeah. So that's really an incredible journey. I mean, it's so interesting to see how some entrepreneurs start. Some are born into it. They just have a certain mindset. Sounds like you do. Some people, like the PhDs you mentioned, came at it from an academic perspective, and they studied it. And then there's just folks that sometimes work in adjacent markets. Maybe they work at Tesla today, or maybe they work at other electronics companies, and they think, what, if we just did this, that, and the other thing, we could patent this, and it could be really something exciting. So it's hard to say where the ideas come from, but I'm always fascinated by this potential world that is just right outside of your vision, right? These ideas that just exist. I think you said it earlier, on the fringe. So tell us, what were the biggest obstacles to kind of being able to bring into existence some of these ideas?
The biggest obstacle, you'll find out that most of the time is yourself.
Yeah.
Right? That's the biggest obstacle. Because in order to find something, you have to at least begin to walk. Right? And you'll gather knowledge, and then you'll eventually end up where you're trying to get. But it might not look like the strategy or plan that you put together.
It never does if you're doing it right.
That's one thing I've learned. Don't get attached to the plan. Get attached to the destinations.
Totally.
Be flexible in the plan, and be only attached to where you're going.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've learned, and I've started to incorporate in my development, because I could clearly say who I was when I started is not who I am now. Through some of the other processes, going through the National Science Foundation's I-Core program, doing customer discovery, some of the business connections that I've made, the individuals who I've connected with, and share their knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's almost freeing.
Yeah.
You honestly, truly learn what you're made of. And it's truly freeing in that understanding that no matter what it is, the safe is just not with what I'm doing, but I know that doesn't matter what it is, I can walk into another company or another organization. They can tell me what they want to do, and I can set out a trajectory plan and grow whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
To not maybe I can do it, or I'm thinking about I can do it. No, I know,
Yeah.
because the fruits of my own labor, and I know what it took. So, you may be dangling 1,000 plates,
Mhm.
right? Put this out there, you put that out there, put this out there. And you need to understand that you may do something that you won't see the fruit of that labor until maybe even a year,
Mhm. That's right.
And you know that these things are going to happen. And you're playing a game that isn't just immediate life. You're playing a game, I'm doing this for years in advance.
Yeah. I think you're referring to the whole business development process, right? From the very earliest ideation to what is this product? What is this service? Who wants it? Customer discovery, prototyping, value proposition, and then moving into market strategy. Who am I going to partner? Am I going to sell it? Whatever I come up with. And then eventually going to pitch and funding and kind of beginning to scale your business. It is something that I think a lot of people don't understand. There's this kind of myth. I have an idea. I just need $1 million to execute it, right? And it's like those are the two milestones. So then all I have to do is I've got to pitch enough people. Eventually someone will believe in me. And I think what you've probably gone through as well as myself is that there's a method to this madness. You have to go through the steps. There's a skill set where you can learn. And like you, one of the things I love most about being the director of this program is I get to see all of you guys going through your own individual journey, because it's never a linear, it's the same for everybody, it's different for everybody, but it's general enough where you can see that progress happening. And one of the things we want to do is we want to celebrate when people hit milestones. So I think you're coming up on a milestone real soon. Is that, you want to share anything with the audience?
We got our first invitation to apply for the CalSeed innovation for $150,000 to develop the technology, and that would be a major milestone for the company. We're able to hire the people that we need, and working with the association with Talent Foundry and being able to have access to the makerspace at UCSD, having those equipment problems solved, and then allowing with the money coming in to allow us to hire the people that we need to do to execute on the next task that we need to do in order to prove out the science. It's a major milestone for the company.
Yeah, couldn't be more excited.
Yeah.
And that's really what Talent Foundry does at the end of the day, is we work with founders to provide them with the framework in case they didn't know what it was. You do. You've been through some really great programs so far, so you have the tools. The difference with us is there is no end. End is only success. Once you've successfully ramped your business, you've funded, you're ready to go, then you're out of the program. And that might be 3 months, a year, or 3 years. We're going to be with you from the beginning to that funding kind of execution. And the thing about the building that we're in right now, it's also designed with that in mind, where the top floor, we even rent spaces to certain companies that are startups, and we have them here, but we also have a maker space just right below us, right? What are the tools down there that get you really excited, like the...
Oh, they have everything. They have everything. They have woodworking, they have 3D printing, they have a full machine shop.
Yeah.
I saw sound blasters in there. You can bend metal. They have everything that they have available in there. In fact, I think somebody made a miniature MRI machine, functional, by the way.
Wow, that's something.
As what I understand, it was called the only medical device made out of spite. he was tired of waiting for his doctor to give him, access, because he needed his wrist X-rayed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So he built his own.
That's a unique individual right there.
Yeah.
So phenomenal. So for those that don't know, Talent Foundry works with diverse founders in San Diego County from ideation all the way to funding and scaling their business. And we provide help from a consulting perspective, and I always find that really helpful because being an entrepreneur can be very lonely. You mentioned earlier that there aren't a lot of people you can talk to, or help you make decisions.
That is correct.
Sometimes just sharing your challenge with someone, I know in my case, helps me work it out in my own mind. And I always love a new perspective to think about what the decision is I'm about to make. So we consult. You also mentioned how important mindset was. And so Christiana, who's not here today, but a critical part of this team, she's actually focused on mindset because we sometimes trap ourselves in our own thoughts, right? Limiting thoughts. Oh, this can't be a great idea. Someone else smarter than me would have done it already, and it's not true. If there's a life, I used to think that way, but in my lifetime, I've come to realize that no, there's an unlimited source of ideas out there. It just takes unique people to seize them and execute them.
Yeah.
And so we deal with business consulting, mindset consulting to make sure that our entrepreneurs are moving forward. We connect them with resources. So if you need anything for this application, well, you got us in your corner.
Yeah, I was definitely, that's one of the things I was going to be talking to Christiana about today.
Right on.
Yeah,
right on.
yeah. But I think we have a meeting coming up too, and I think in 2 days, I think is.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be ready for that. And then lastly, it's super important to build a community of diverse entrepreneurs. Remember back on December 7th, we launched the program. We had an incredible party.
Yeah.
It was one for the records. And that's one of the things I think will distinguish us. I know it's kind of funny and silly, but we love having a good time. We believe that it breaks down barriers between the members. And really what we want to do is create a network of people who can bring business to each other and do business with each other. And it's working. With the only 15 people in the program, initially, we already have some synergies where one entrepreneur is helping another one to help execute their business plan because they have access to a different network of professionals in a company nearby that we're going to do a pitch at. So there's already examples where we are helping each other, we are bringing business to each other. And I don't know if you know, but the exciting news is we already hit a milestone. There are 50 members right now in the Talent Foundry. We didn't expect to hit that number until the summertime. So we have another 3 months to add more, maybe even get to 100 members in the Talent Foundry, and that would be exceptional. Not so much for me because I'm going to get stretched so thin. I've already told our Vice Chancellor that, we're onto a good thing here. We think we're giving people what they need to grow their business, to succeed, and to create, hopefully, generational wealth and an example for our communities to emulate. So any parting words that you might have, Gray, for the listeners tonight?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Stop listening to that little voice in your mind that's limiting your potential and start listening to the other one that says you got what it takes. And if you don't, you can find the people that will help you get what it takes. So thank you so much from the Talent Foundry. I'm David Favela, your host. Thank you so much for Gray Cash for coming out here to beautiful La Jolla, UCSD. It's raining a little bit, but I'm sure it'll get over soon. And thank you mostly to all of you, our listeners. Hopefully this was helpful to you, and we send you best wishes.
All right.
Out.